What if the sad situation happens and someone in your team, especially if it's someone important, decides to quit? Either that person resigns or just leaves the team, whatever. These are difficult situations. It's day 37, and I want to share some thoughts on team members quitting, team members leaving, and how you, as a good CEO, should or can react to that. Obviously, over the last 8 months, sadly, we've had a lot of people leaving in the company because of the dispute, because of all the drama, because of all the uncertainty. And look, I don't blame anyone. I told this each team member that was leaving during this time. We, I think, lost more than half of the team members. And yeah, it's never an easy situation. And so I thought I want to dedicate that video a bit on that. Also, just because recently we had another team member leaving that it's just a valuable team member. But I don't blame that person. I understand the person's motivations. And with that, a lot of decision making kind of comes for you. So the first question, right, when someone leaves is, where do you classify that team member? Is that a team member that's absolutely essential to the team? And these are actually very few team members. I want to be very clear on this. You sometimes think that it's absolutely insane that that person leaves and you can never replace that person. But to be honest, at some point, most people can be replaced. It's going to be difficult. But you should be very careful to put someone in this category that you can never ever lose. Right. So I think that's crucial. Then you have team members, that are really good to have, and you obviously don't want to lose them, but you really want to keep them. And then there's those that you like, but they are quite replaceable. I assume you don't have anything beyond that. So anyone you don't want to have, you should not really have. And we're going to talk in other videos about how to let people go. But I think these are the three kind of categories. To me, if someone is resigning or quitting, and that's a person that's absolutely crucial to the company, and that person doesn't even come to you, doesn't talk to you, then I think actually there was a problem that you had all the way, where certain needs, certain questions, certain things weren't met. And you should really kind of reflect on, is this affecting other people in the organization as well? I think this is really important in that grand scheme of things. And you need to talk to people and really make sure that this is an absolutely essential person. So I think that's crucial in that group. Obviously, there you want to fight, you want to try to convince that person to stay, obviously within means, right? It always depends on how reasonable this is. In that group that's a bit in the middle, where you really want to keep that person, the person is really, really good. Here, many times, this is actually a majority of the team, or should be the majority. So these are team members that are just really good. You don't want to lose them, but many times they actually get hired away, they get approached. And here you just need to have an open conversation. You need to understand, why is the person leaving. For example, if I look back over the last 8 to 9 months, a lot of the reason was just because of all the drama, right? It was not like the extra money. It was not, I don't know, the field that they're in. It wasn't even personal reasons. It was just the drama, the uncertainty, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I understand that people don't want to have that sometimes, right? They want to have a constructive environment, and if that doesn't, it's not there, then it just, well, I get it, right? It's a bit harder. So yeah, it depends a bit there. And then obviously those team members in that last group that are good team members, but if they leave, then they are definitely replaceable. I think there, it's not something that I would really fight for. I think this is just a natural attrition a bit. I even know companies, right? I want to make this very clear. I even know companies who intentionally do not give a certain percentage an increase in their salary, so that there's this natural attrition on this bottom, whatever, 10, 20%. There's like a natural attrition. So it's just something to kind of consider. For some time, we also had in a company where we asked team leads to really kind of look out for the bottom 5%, for example, and just really try to give them either a performance improvement or talk to them why they are in the bottom 5%, work with them, right? But there's different ways how to do this. I'm not always convinced that this is the right idea, but I do really believe that to a certain extent, a natural attrition or some kind of cycling is not the worst. And if it affects the majority of the company, I think that's not good. So these are kind of the initial approach. Now, obviously, with that, then you have the other side either coming to you and saying, no, look, my decision is final, or it is a non-negotiable thing. Could be people moving. I had this once, right, where a team member was moving. I needed that team member in Singapore. That person was moving. There's nothing to discuss in further kind of possibilities. It just doesn't really work out. And so that kind of is a bit of a discussion, negotiation, and you need to reflect: is the additional thing, is that worth it or not? And that's what it really comes down to. And hopefully you can keep that person if you want to keep that person, and hopefully that person goes if it's really the value at all these steps. And I believe of myself that I'm someone who does this with most leavers. I don't think I manage to do it with all of them, but with most I manage to do that. And that to me means I want to have a good relationship with them. I want them to always know that they were really valuable to us, and that if I can help them in the future, they can always reach out. They can always reach out for a reference letter. They can always reach out for, I don't know, a connection or an introduction. And look, I have team members leaving where I really understand the reason. We just recently had someone who wanted to start his own company. And, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I actually am super proud of that. I mean, I would love to have him in the company and stay in the company, but I'm super proud that he goes out there and tries to start his own company. I think that's amazing, and I wish him nothing but the best. And I mean this, right? And just at the recent cake anniversary, we had like a, I don't know, 15-minute chat, and it was just super nice. And kind of seeing that initial steps and so on. And I think that's so essential. Don't be that kind of person that, I don't know, leaves that sour taste at the end. I think that's these are these juvenile mistakes. I think that's important. Don't engage in any kind of, I don't know, bad mouthing, either on social or within the company. I've seen this so many times, and I think that's really not a good solution. At the end, that's always going to backfire. So, yeah, these are my thoughts on if someone quits. That is really quite important. Let me know if you have questions on that. Further ideas, further kind of thoughts. I'll definitely make a video also on letting people go, how to do that, how to do this individually, how we also had sadly had to do this in a larger scale. I don't know if I ever talked about that part, so I'll share that as well. And yeah, with that, have a good Thursday, everyone. See you tomorrow, Friday. And yeah, markets are bleeding. My goodness. So let's see what's happening there. With this, everyone, all the best. Julian, bye bye.